success together. Like always, shout out to the Village Restoration Project. We about to do some amazing things. Try to, finance some of our young people, man. Resource them in a real way. Do it in a collective way. You know, a family approach. See how that works. Direct resource and see what comes of that. If you give people some of the things they need, give them a little bit of like direction, instruction, because we all got somebody that we're older than, we have more experience than wisdom in a particular place. So it's like if we can all pass that down as people come up, I think we meet people in a lot of places having that multi intergenerational conversation consistently though. Like make that culture because we make a lot of things culture. Music, dress, things we say, approaches to things. People have ideology switches like every 10 to 5 to 10 years based on what's promoted the most to them, what messaging is the clearest and the most. Is kind of like radio. How we all paid attention to radio and how they just start putting certain music on loop. That's a certain amount of messaging as well. It's not just as much, they're trying to get you to like a song to dance to celebrate to find some enjoyment in. Those songs have messages. People are saying things in those songs about what you're drinking, what you're eating, where you're going to eat and drink, what you're wearing, what are the popping places that everybody want to go to. It's messaging. These things become culture because they're repeated to you over and over and over again. And that's just one of the ways that the examples of that. So I think we can be able to do that with positive things too, if you want to say positive, just life things. Like when we talk about restorative justice circles, like we can have a culture where young people are informed about that and they want to utilize it in their young lives, calling, see things that they don't agree with or things they do agree with, and they just want to give everybody an opportunity to be able to speak on it so the group can move stronger. Everybody has an understanding of why it's important to everybody. And the circles and restorative justice give you the opportunity to do that. So, excuse me. So before I go too far off into a tangent, you know what I'm saying? Because I have a lot of things have happened, a lot of things on my mind. You know what I mean? I feel good about, but I want to always blueprint to peace. What is going on? It's not coming out. We always want to respect this partnership. I've seen a lot of shares. I hope people are tapping into it. It's a really good resource. That's Blueprint to Peace program, My Life Blueprint program, Life Transition Support. We are seeking individuals who are looking to transition to a higher level in life. Quality of life. The program includes workshops and education to improve their life. Nutrition and fitness. I don't know why this one just always stands out to me as a great part of the program. An individual, all individuals will receive health and nutrition fitness course because we got to be very holistic in our approach. Um, and then there's also every Monday on Zoom, 6:30 to 8 p.m. Blueprint to Peace program presents our panic room. Breakout groups include grief, anxiety, depression, brain/mental health, and mentorship. I like to say eldership. English and Spanish speaking professionals. A safe virtual space for those in need of therapeutic services. Registration required. BlueprintExecutionPlan.com. That's BlueprintExecutionPlan.com. 215-425-6900. Atlas X Program Director, Atlas underscore X at hccsphila.org. That's Atlas X Program Director, Atlas underscore X at hccsphila.org. Another place I want to give a shout out and hope for future partnerships. I hope y'all can hear me. This joint kind of high, and I'm kind of like slouching. But let me get my posture together, project my voice better. But I was at a coffee shop across the street. I didn't even know it was there, and I'm like, man, I rode by that joint. It's Freedom Cafe House, Freedom Coffee House. I said Freedom Cafe, Freedom Coffee House. So that joint right across the street. This joint on Old York Road. I think that might be. Is it still the 4900? I don't got the address exactly, but this is 4933 Old York Road. It's across the street, kind of down the street. I think it's still on the 4900, but it's Freedom Coffee House. Um, the coffee was amazing. I'm trying to remember what the name of it was because it was really good. I got peppermint in mine. What was it? He said it was a kind of green tea, but it's really, really good. Y'all need to check it out. I posted it, put it in my story. Say it. Matcha. That's exactly what it is. Thank you. We got Glockaware family in here. I don't, people always, I don't know what they want to be doing. So I love it when they're around. They can always get up and, say, I got something to say about the community. I'm a community member. But but there's always family in here. But alongside that and not, but it's Freedom Coffee House. Really nice vibe. Like I said, I put it in my story. Black owned. Always majorly important. And to me, I've been having this conversation since prison. Philadelphia Muslims are a different type of Muslim, just to say the least. We're not going in a good, bad, whatever. The reason why I wear my beard is because of Islam and its culture in Philly. And I know that. I understand it. It's even a thing where a woman will be like, nah, don't cut your beard off. If you went somewhere else, a woman might not mind that because they wear their beards all kinds of ways, or no beards at all. But because it's culture here and this is something they've seen and they've grown into seeing their whole lives, it would look foreign to them for a man not to be walking around with a beard. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's just one example. And we can go really, really deep into the conversation. But what I really want to get to is, I see when we see in this city, there's a lot of construction going on. And this is just one point. There's a lot of construction going on, and that season is coming. If you're a laborer of some sort, they're going to be doing a lot of construction in this city. You can find your way to get in where you fit in. But the point I'm making is, like, I go places and I see a lot of other people in groups. I see Asian folks with all Asian folks on the workforce. I see white boys, of course, and have all types of people, but majority of them and who run it be white boys. But you can literally go and see a whole building being put up, all white boys out there. You can go see definitely our Latino brothers and sisters, Latinx brothers and sisters out there. Whole everybody, the Mexican, like everybody, like the Mexicans is out. Okay, but in Philadelphia with so many Muslims, I should see a lot of work sites with all Muslim brothers on it. Kufi's on, however, whatever the representation is, and we know all the different garb because, again, it's culture to us. That's what I should see with hard hats or with, a drywall on them, a paint on them, or whatever, and it should be all them. Like, I want to see more of that in the city because this is a Muslim city. Philadelphia is a Muslim city, a black Muslim city to be exact. And now we starting to even have more our African brothers and sisters who come over who are Muslim. That connection needs to be made, but it needs to be made in ownership. I have nothing. Well, I do have something against the Dominican stores. I'm not even going front. They don't support our community. But why the corner store is not owned by black Muslims? I just don't understand it. It blows my mind. Like we should be cornering the market. Everything in the city it's a Muslim city. Like, so that's just a basic thing for me. That's one of those things that I want to look to more. I hope our Muslim brothers and sisters are having that conversation about having more actual ownership. And culture is very important. Culture can dictate a lot of things. But we have an ability and we have a space to tie ownership, actual material things, not material as in capitalism, but actual ownership of things in the city as a group. And only have to, and don't care about nobody supporting it but our folks. And it will still be successful. If all the Muslims in the city supported all the Muslim stuff in the city, they all would be successful. I guarantee it, just purely by the numbers. And I don't even know the numbers. I know it's enough. I know when the Eid celebration just went on, I seen enough folks who I knew for sure when I seen them in the street on that day that they were Muslim to know that anything that they owned in this city, if they supported it with each other, it would be successful. So that's my only thing. The same way I used to look at it in prison. When I was in Smithfield for 10 years. It was always easily upwards of 300 plus Muslims in the jail at any given time. No Muslim brother shouldn't have been getting a visit. Not with 300 Muslims represented daily in the prison. I mean, hand up representation. So with that being known and we all can see each other and can locate it, how anybody ever needed a visit? How anybody Brooks was ever not cool? We could go even deeper. How we couldn't even get bail money or lawyer money, at least appeal money as a group for brothers. And it was pockets of brothers who supported each other in that way. But for the amount of brothers in that particular prison while I was there, they didn't control enough stuff, even in a prison. Because it could have got to a point where brothers could have been getting out off of that energy too. And I'm not just talking about running down, because it was enough for that too. If we really want to have that conversation. You know what I'm saying? If we really standing on it. But if we not even going to go that far and we just going to say appeal court, it was enough people to generate enough money and have a law firm dealing with the Muslim brothers and sisters because they know consistent income is coming in from that group of people. They fuck with it like that. When you pay a lawyer in any industry, you have lawyers on payroll. Why couldn't the Muslim community have lawyers on payroll? That's not unthinkable, unimaginable. It's 300 brothers represented at any given time. And this is not a shot at my brothers. This is just, we need to have more conversations about how to make that happen. You know what I'm saying? Because it is a lot of Muslim brothers and sisters that own a lot of stuff. But we need to have more of those conversations of how do we do this bigger for the community with the expertise that we all have. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's my thing. That's not a shot at all. It's a Muslim city. I'm a logical thinking person. Why would I want to do that? Because, and I've been in real conversations with brothers, like real conversations. You know what I'm saying? Like about Islam. But I'm just saying right there for that point that the day of the Eid celebration, I seen like when the Eagles won. Y'all know how I felt about that. All that green and not enough red, black, and green, but that was a lot of green. And there was a lot of like feelings amongst us that felt good to me. I liked it. I just didn't like what was the thing that brought it about. Why it gotta be that? I said, that's cool. We can enjoy the game, all that. But the way we moved as a people, that should be daily. That should be daily. The Eagles should be like, that's just another day that we do it. That's just another day that we move with each other like that. Not a day where it's like it stood out. You know what I'm saying? It stood out. So the same thing when I seen the Eid celebration, I'm like, okay, this is a clear example, clear representation of how many Muslim brothers and sisters of all generations are in Philadelphia. We should own the joint. That's what I seen. That's the only thing that ran through my head as I moved around. There's not enough ownership. There's not. And a lot of money. Oh, yeah, don't let me forget that part, because my daughter's mother is Muslim. So another reason why I was in a lot of these spaces, because she was partaking in the activities. And one of the things I seen was capitalism was pumping. Sneaker stores was packed. People wanted to make sure they had nice sneaks to wear for the Eid. I rode around with my daughter mom. I observed it. I seen it. Everywhere I went, I seen folks garbed up, spending money. Y'all can have sneaker stores too, though. I don't give a fuck about the sneakers. Go ahead and buy them. But buy them from your Muslim brothers and sisters that owns the JD or the Snipes. Stop buying it from anybody else. It's enough of your people. And then we can have the capitalism conversation for real, after the fact. Let's get the capital together first. Let's do that. Because that's what I seen. I seen it. I seen capitalism find its way to weave its motherfucking shit all in religion and then culture. And had you spending money. And had you spending money. I can't read that, John. Whoever sent that just now, I so appreciate you putting that up there. For real, I can't really see it though. I can't see it. It was husky. I'm gonna have to check it on another time. But I appreciate you. I really do. Please send another John so I can know who it was. But I would like to read it, but it was a lot. And that leads me into my next thing about my eyes. I definitely have to get glasses and stop playing. All my brothers, I had an amazing experience at Meade Elementary School on 18th and Oxford. They have a clinic, or I think it's called Quality Health or something like that. It might not be just a straight like clinic, but however, it's a community space. It's a community clinic. I'm going to say that's what it is. All black women. Amazing experience. Seriously, amazing experience. I'm not saying this as a PSA. No pun intended to my brothers. Even though you should go get a checkup if you have the means to go get a checkup. And I know what it feels like not to have the means, but have the means. Like you don't got insurance, but you got money, but it's like, I don't know how much I'm gonna have to spend on this. I gotta build a certain amount of capital up, or I'm cool. I work out, I'm active, I'm not feeling no type of way. Oh, and they did say your boy was good. You know, that's the one of the most important part. You know, like you're good, like good. Like you all right, bro. You've been doing some good things for yourself. And I'm gonna try to maintain and continue, as we go through and do all these things in this war. This war that's going on, a lot of what I'm talking about are just parts of a war, an attack that has been since day one for us. And they found multiple different ways to war with you, so that's why you don't think it's war. You know what I'm saying? But 18th and Oxford, Meade Elementary. If you go to the side, it's a red door. 3 sisters in there. One of the nurse, Fatima, the doctor, Sakina. That was her name. The little sister that was the receptionist. I apologize. I don't remember her name, but she was so dope because she was like, I just took this job. I didn't want to necessarily be in medicine or anything. Yeah, of course, I had conversations with everybody. Yeah, that's what I did. It was that type of experience in there with my sisters, with these queens, with these black women. Like making it comfortable where you don't feel like you need an advocate, because men need advocates too. Sometimes we need them for different reasons, to just be like turn down a little bit. Like it ain't even about you being vulnerable. This just makes sense. So have a conversation about what's going on with you. Because that's where men need, for me and how I understand a lot of times, we just don't want to tell you that type of shit. We don't want to tell you enough to actually give us some help. Because it's like I'm telling you too fucking much and now you want to play with the information and shit. Now you want to weaponize it. Shit like that. You want to make me feel less than because these things are going on. I don't got everything together. And that ain't even real. You know what I mean? But for me and men I talk to, brothers I've been around in different spaces, when it has come to medicine, that's normally the thing. Like, I don't want you, and it's always that joint, I don't want you to know I'm hurt. Or potentially I could be hurt. So, we all get into the, if I don't think about it, it ain't really going on. If I don't claim it, that's where that shit get lost a little bit. You gotta balance this shit out. Motherfuckers run around, they ain't claiming nothing that's in stage 75. It's claimed already. For real. So yeah, we need to find some balance with that. And that's one of the things with brothers like myself included, to be like, man, I'm good. And I'm actively like doing stuff to make sure I'm good, but you never fully know. And again, it's so many attacks on blackness, especially black manhood, that it's like, you got to be checking in on yourself. And you got to be open enough and logical enough to let somebody know that can give you some information that can help you. So being in that space and feeling like that with my sisters, that was a good thing for me. And I think any brother that comes in there, they're going to be the same. Any person, anybody, because the little sister was like, I just want to make sure my people, because they deserve to have a good experience when they come in and get seen, get checked on, to make sure that they are all right, or are already in some stage of something and need some balanced care. So it was a really good experience, man. I would tell anybody to definitely check them out. You know what I'm saying? And people always be telling me like the surveys do matter. Like I've been told that a lot, so I know at this point it does matter. So you know that's one of those being black in the space Jones. Like I fill out surveys for black people. I'm just because this is the thing. This is my strategy, or to it. Like black folks, no matter how far beyond they do with their job, there's always these cultural and structural dynamics that's going to keep them from getting fair market value, if you want to say it like that. So for me, being black in the space is to only concentrate on black folks in these same institutions when I have a mechanism to make sure that in some way they get accounted fairly. So if they telling me the survey matters, I'm going to fill it out right there standing there with them. Because this is my, like, if a black woman, a black man is in a space, I go somewhere, get service that they provide, and they tell me that the survey matters for them, which I've been told in numerous different industries, from folks that work at the bank to folks that work at Walmart to, a healthcare provider. I've been told it works. It matters. So I fill it out. And that's just one of the ways. You know what I'm saying? And then, these women, it was a good job. I really appreciate it. One of the most important things about going, dealing with medicine, going to any clinic, hospital, whatever, where there's needles around. At some point, they gonna want to stick you with the needle. I didn't feel the needle. Like literally. And and recently I've had people butcher me and folks around me that didn't deserve that and never deserved it. But that sister, because it's a skill. And you know how we do. You give us something, we make that shit magical. It's just a real thing. Magical is the word that I'm using, but don't get spooked out. That shit is very, very regular to you. That's one of those things where you have to tell yourself, damn, I'm really capable of a lot of shit. And to do it at a high level. And that is a skill. I believe that ties into everything that it is to be a healthcare professional if you're talking about bedside manner. I took my skills serious enough to eliminate any tension that would come from me missing the vein and this person getting aggravated quick about you stabbing them all in the arm. So kind of like however you respond, the flip side is you have to take that because you know that's a part of your job if you don't have the skill set to make it as harmless as possible. Almost no pain. That's what the goal is. If you what is that called? What is the name of, folks that just do that all day? Is it just a nurse? Do they have a specialty when it comes to that? Like you do all the IVs, all in it. Is it a name for that? Or that's just a part of being a nurse? Because I've been getting butchered and people around me have. They might need to make that a specialty as a part of being a nurse or a healthcare professional. If you're somebody that gives people needles, it need to kind of be like, that's a joint that need a survey. It need a ranking, like, you jabbed it. My shit bruised. I'm talking about people coming from the hospital bruised up from it. You know what I'm saying? So that was just a little tangent, but it was very important to me that I didn't feel the needle and she got all the blood and that part went by like that. It didn't create no tension because you apparently don't know your job or you don't take this part of the job serious enough or you need to work harder at your job. Like, why are you a phlebotomist? I almost couldn't get it and was ready to be like, why would you do that to me? Like, A phlebotomy. Thank both of y'all. I appreciate it. But that is very important. You know what I'm saying? So again, I want to shout them out. I want anybody who has to go for your next checkup. I would say, I only went once, and it was this was a thing because I feel like sometimes we get caught up with like giving people praise or giving people acknowledgement. I'm still not gonna stop doing it because if you doing something, you doing something, and if I think that it's real right there, I'm gonna acknowledge that. Damn, that's some good shit that you doing, and let's rock out with it. Let's continue it. And if at some point it falters, that's not really my fault for acknowledging what it was when I thought that that's what it was for whatever reason that it faltered. It could have just been by happenstance. You know what I'm saying? The time could have been up, or it could have been some agenda shit. But however it go, I'm not gonna stop doing that. So these sisters, that clinic, I would tell anybody, slide through there, get that care. It's that for me, it was like this is what we got to get back to. It felt like that, like going in places and our people, kind of what I was talking about, not kind of what I was talking about with our Muslim brothers and sisters in the city. The same thing. I would feel much more comfortable going to Freedom Coffee House on 49 whatever Old York Road. Look it up. You know what I'm saying? You'll see it'll pop right up. But that's what I felt comfortable doing. Sitting in there, doing some work, talking to the folks, talking to the ownership. And this is not necessarily a good thing, but it was like all three of us, a brother that came in there, and we all returning citizens. Like that was a part of the conversation in there. You know what I'm saying? And for a lot of people, it's a crazy dynamic about how that's changing culture and what that's doing. So many of us going through that 10 to 30 year period from the 90s to now of dealing with just incarceration, whether you did long stretches or you was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's like, damn, now what is that introducing into everything in our community again? And I don't want y'all to forget there's been a trade-off. So keep that on your mind, and we didn't pay attention to it. Philadelphia locks up the most black youth in the country. How did that happen and nobody paid attention to it? Nobody knew nothing about it. We just let it happen, and now the Inquirer write about it, and I hope people are taking. This is why I be wanting y'all to read, because reading will make you see headlines and jump into it instead of saying, I don't want to read that. But that headline could be about what just happened to your little brother. And it could be giving you some tools and some understanding on how to defend or help or not let it happen again. So we need to be able to, the more you read, you'll see the word and want to try to figure it out or try to be like, we're going to move on to the next segment. No. Yeah, definitely. So that's another reason why I say a lot of read, because it's a lot of different messages and things going on out here, and we need to be able to decipher them.
I had to come up here because you said something about reading.
No, definitely. We could get to it. This is somebody I see in and around Glockaware a lot. You know what I'm saying? I can't remember her name right now. This is another reason why I let people introduce themselves. So please first let them know who you are, because I see you, doing things, moving around, got things going on, you know what I'm saying? So please let them know a little bit about that and then get into what you was about to say.
Yeah, my name is LaWanda. I'm with Real Mission Inc. I'm a professional fundraiser and grant writer for nonprofits. I help people start nonprofits and small businesses. I do a lot of community activist events. But I heard you saying earlier something about the reading part, right? And like last week, I go to the library almost every day, different libraries across the city of Philadelphia. It's just kind of like it's somewhere to work.
Right.
I'm less likely to spend money.
Right.
If I'm on like a little budget challenge.
Right.
I'm on a budget challenge right now. I have money, but I'm trying to see how little I can actually spend. So I've been bringing my coffee out in like a thing each day.
Right.
I've been bringing my green tea out every day, because those are things I would normally buy.
Right.
And I've been bringing all my food and my snacks out every day.
We learning something. Pay attention.
It's like keeping my I spent no money at all today. I'm about to spend some on gas though. Okay. That's it.
Is it a different category for something like gas, or no? It's just
no, it's just no
no
money.
money you trying,
Because
because if you ain't go nowhere, then you wouldn't have to spend it.
Right. This is
Okay.
the thing. So everybody trying to get you to pop out to different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They don't factor in the fact that you gotta burn up gas to get
Yes.
to them. So you really gotta want to do the things that you're going out to
Yes.
do. If you stopped all of that stuff, like you would have money.
Some
You
bread.
know, a lot of people don't realize how
Nah, I
much.
do.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize how much it actually costs to live versus how much they think it costs to live.
Tell them,
And
please.
the
Please
only
tell
reason
them.
why they think it costs more money to live is because of all the things they do to try to impress other people or to make other people happy. So but yeah, so last week I was at the library. It's one of my free things that I enjoy doing, and it's kind of like a bookstore where you don't have to pay for any of the books. So I went there last week and I was looking through the newspapers. And I was like, we don't read the newspaper anymore. And it sounds corny to, on the surface, right? But as I'm looking through this newspaper, I'm seeing invitations for like major power events and all kinds of stuff that could really move and change people's position in the city, right? So then it dawned on me that, like, I think the people who have bread and have resources and they have a community of their own that exists in the newspaper, they're able to tell each other what's going on, knowing that none of us are reading it.
Exactly.
None of us are buying it. None of us are reading it. None of us are seeing it. So that's like their like community newsletter for all the people who have the resources and know where the parties are that they go to.
All of it. It's a whole social. The reason why I know what you're talking about, and please don't lose where you was going with it, and more that you were saying about it. When I was upstate, I read the Daily News more like a novel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it was real, but I know that it's not real to a certain extent too. You know what I'm saying? What I'm reading on its face is not real, but it's still telling a story about all of these different people in Philadelphia who are movers and shakers, a lot of whom were black. So that made me want to read it more. You know what I'm saying? But I was seeing the same thing: business opportunities, the fundraiser events, whose birthday party it is, where are they going to be having a birthday party, who are they actually inviting? You know what I'm saying? And I start seeing that in the Daily News. It's like there's a group of people in this the nonprofit sector and the for-profit sector, as is people that work in government. They have their own community of black people. You know what I'm saying? So to that point, what you were saying, 10-15 years ago, I was reading the Daily News and it was reading like that about black socialites of all different sorts.
Yeah, and if you there's this funny story of when I was like moving around those circles and stuff and going to all the networking events, and once you're in, you start to get the emails, the newsletters and stuff. So you're in, so you know when stuff is happening. And what I've been trying to do is take people that I've been meeting down here or whatever and bring them with me to those things, so then they end up on the mailing list too.
Exactly.
And now in the future, if they want to go to something or find out about a grant or a new program or whatever, it's coming directly to their email box now instead of them calling me. I don't want them to call me.
That's something that I would tell a lot of people. I'm blessed and grateful that you made that point. A lot of times we don't want to give our information. We don't want to give our email. I've gotten a lot of opportunities in my life to basically stay an independent contractor because I've given people my email. And they send me all types of job opportunities, internships, business opportunities, classes, free classes, discounted class, like all of these different things. And I have multiple certificates from doing that, restorative justice being one. That was an email sent to me from somebody because I gave them my email. And I've had a lot of opportunities come my way, and you can too, because this is the thing about lived experience. You never understand what folks are, and hopefully folks like myself that do understand are in these spaces. And I'm saying this for if you are hearing this and people are not in those spaces, your experience at whatever is marketable. And that's I guess a good thing. No, I don't really guess it's not actually a good thing, but The way that you get out of this system is working through this system. I hate to say it like that. You can't even leave this country without paying. Where your passport at? Who you gotta get that money to? What airline you gonna pay for to get out of here? What boat you gonna? Because if you don't own these things, and if you do own them, who did you buy them from? So at some point you gotta pay into this system even to get away from it. If you think, because most people in the world speak English, so until that starts shifting and changes, a lot of the cultures and dynamics that you've experienced here, you were experiencing other places. So the point is being like, how do we move in these spaces and understand these things and still get the resources that we need? You know, how do you go through the stages of understanding, okay, you could say F capitalism, but then how are you going to get one of the tools to get the things that you need for liberation? It's a wild dynamic. It's a crazy thing that happens. So I hope that I'm in these spaces to be able to tell young folks like, all right, this is what you're going to be facing. And you got to make your determination of how much or not of yourself you want to give to this. You know what I'm saying? And for a black person, I would say you don't want to give anything. So you want to always be in a mindset of, I'm going to do this work with knowing I have to build mine. Meaning my people, not your individual self. You have to build your people. You can't. It's nothing happens alone. Nothing happens alone. So you said the library was your place that you go.
That's my little spot that I go.
The newspaper, you were
Listen, I went through there
decoding the newspaper.
I was decoding the newspaper. It's also like the storyline. Like the newspaper will tell you which of the power players don't deal with the other power player. Like knowing those relationships and stuff is important too, because you don't want to go up to somebody mentioning their op. You know, like in a conversation where you're getting ready to ask them for something. So there's so much detail and information, but then it brought me to like how they stop us. It's not just that we don't want to read. That's part of it, like you said earlier. But it's also that there's what's called a paywall up on a lot of the articles and stuff now. So you have to pay the 99 cents or get a subscription or whatever to read the rest of the article. They only let you read like the beginning of the article, and then they like will shut it down after one article is read.
And then it's like you gotta subscribe to this in order to get the rest of it.
Think about that, because now that means that you have to pay for information. So it means that the free information isn't the same as the paid information. Right. So as I'm reading, but the library has all of the information in physical form that you don't have to pay for. So now their excuse can always be, yes, we do have online the paid version, and then we don't give you as much for free, but we give the libraries, which are right in your neighborhood, the whole thing for free. So it's your laziness that is preventing you from having the information. It's wrong what they're doing.
No, and I would take it a step further, because it's a thing where you're made to be intellectually lazy. Like a lot of us are, because again, systems at play. The school district, I really need black folk in Philadelphia, anywhere in this country, but in particular in Philadelphia, stop approaching the school district as if it is ever going to be in coalition, partnership, or ally of you. What the school district is doing is in direct opposition of our babies. Just from top to bottom, the indoctrination by teachers who come from other places and not from these communities, the mishandling of money. This is the fifth largest media market in the country, maybe the sixth now. What that speaks to is the amount of media, the amount of getting a message out and bringing messages in and creating messages. The reason why New York and LA are bigger media markets, because they have industries that create messages. They create imagery. They create selling points. That's what the plays are. That's what the studios are. That's what the music studios, the acting studios. Those are industries that promote culture and message. That's why so much money is put into them. So Chicago is on par too. But the other things, like my sister just said, that promotes this media is the library, newspapers, places where you could go get media from. Written media, print media, still very powerful. And like it was just explained to us, it's a gatekeeper thing now with who can read and who can't read. A have and a have not. That's why I told y'all maybe a show or two ago, stop giving niggas the pussy. Make him read a paragraph. If he can't at least read a paragraph, he's not deserving. If he can't read a I'm telling y'all, sisters, seriously, how are you laying with a man who can't read, sis? We ain't gonna go too deep into it. Go a show or two back. I explained the whole thing. Make him read a paragraph. That's one of the quick ways you can kind of find out whether you want to deal with him or not. You ain't got to go through a whole lot of mystery. He can't read. When you can start reading, I'll tutor you if, no, don't even tutor him, because y'all know how y'all get caught the fuck up because you helping them and y'all together reading the book and all that shit. Don't do that. Tell him when you can read, I'll be here.
Don't do
For real, I want to do everything, but when you can read, you can get everything. So, not going into that, but as we say, reading comes into being class warfare now too. What information can you get? What information can you understand?
And the problem with the free version is it's free. So that means that the best journalists who research and put all of the work in, they are not working for the paper that gives the news away for free. They're working for the one that's the paid version.
Exactly.
So that means that the other people who don't bother to research, just share their own opinions about stuff, there's no facts in them or whatever, that's the news that the people who don't want to pay are getting.
Oh, so you talking about the folks who probably went to school for journalism and learned what it was to be an investigative reporter.
They're
and what research actually is, and how, the different ways that you learn to write, to get answers, to give information clearly, to be vague, to promote certain ideas, telling a person about one thing but really trying to inform them about something else. This is what you learn in journalism school. And those English classes that you have to take. Those psychology classes that you have to take as minors for that major. These are the things that you learn. What are you learning? How to think. How to critically think. The people who can critically think can guard information. They can capitalize off of information. They can give or deny access based on information.
And that's not to say that everything that is free is low quality. It's just to say that those people then end up getting their news from Instagram, YouTube, other places where they could just, it's also the laziness factor. They can get it in a few seconds. Well, digesting something in a few seconds means that you're not getting enough of it. You're not able to formulate an entire thought or opinion about something when you only watch 30 seconds on that topic. But now everyone feels very confident in getting a couple of seconds of information on something and then running to other people, not only to share it to thousands with the click of a button, but then to go around town repeating the thing that they only learned about for 15 or 20 seconds.
And again, that goes back to the school district. Because at the beginning, when you were supposed to make education the thing that was important, that was going to shape this person's life, not so much to going to college or feeding into capitalism, but just being able to critically think about the world around you and make good decisions, because you have some way, some barometer, some tool to determine some level of outcomes. So you can make better decisions because you have the ability to determine some level of what is going to happen next. If I say this, what are the things that can happen after I say this? If I do that, what are the things that can happen after I do that? That's how all of us should be, but it has to be taught. And our schools are not teaching it. Actually, what our schools are doing are damaging our brains. They're damaging our brains. And they're damaging our brains with one basic thing. That lack of love, that lack of encouragement, of being like, fuck these kids. That's our attitude. I hear it all the time. People are out on children. And this being taught as culture. I had a young lady say to me, like, how can we get anything changed if the adults don't care about the kids?
They don't care.
And you hear too many adults, like, in all different ways, whether we talking about I don't want to have no more kids. Like, I don't want, but you still doing all these activities that can bring kids forth. What are you talking about?
Why are you around
Or
them?
I'll kill it. I'll just kill it. Hey,
You become
I'll kill it.
detrimental being around
You know what I'm
them
saying?
if you
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
You know, so that's a culture of Bernie Mac shit. Fuck these kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I know y'all thought it was just a joke when it was being introduced, but it introduced a culture that you could not. It's like, you know why we gravitate to what we think is or what is the bottom of things? Because we don't have the ability to understand what actually serves us. We're being taught that other things serve us, that European thinking serves us, but we're Africans. Now you could say, I ain't no African, but tell me what's serving you. You know why nothing's serving you? Because you have no identity, and the identity you try to attach to, you will never be that. So you only wind up serving somebody else. And then we look next generation and say, why don't we have anything? Because we would still serve whoever it was. We just serving the Asian folks, serving the white folks, serving these folks, serving that. Never serving ourselves. Why? Because we don't have an identity. The identity is African. If you want to say black, I wouldn't necessarily say African American, because I would lean more towards black as the distinctness of those who were brought here, captives here. Not saying black can be this culture, because I'm saying, yo, I'm an African. But as a cultural distinction for African-born Americans who ancestors directly went through the Ma'afa, I'll take that connection of being called black. And it be a distinction of an African anywhere in the world. Not that we're the only ones that call ourselves black in the world, but we call ourselves black in a very distinct way. We put black on a lot of things in a very identifying way of who we are as African-born Americans, our people who went directly through the Ma'afa and have lived this for 500 years. It's time, y'all. It's time. That's the only reason. It's time. But to what my sister is saying about the newspaper and about how access is being gate kept in different ways. How the library, and I wanted to say this too, how the library, when I was booked, I used to tell dudes, if you want to go somewhere where you don't got to worry about coming back to jail, go to the library. Spend a lot of time in the library. I wasn't reading the newspaper and hearing about anything happening in the library. And when it did, it made so much attention because it almost never happened. But can anybody tell me about even a shooting that happened in front of a library in the city? I don't really even know those. And it's a library like on Lehigh Ave, not to put these places out there in that type of way, but 52nd Street is pretty close to 52nd and Market, so you would think somebody might have got hit right there. And I'm just saying, just something to look at, like, shit don't really be happening in the library. Like, you really can go to the library and get some self-care in a variety of different ways.
Really, anybody can go there too, because if you've been to a library, it's people who wash their bodies at the library.
At the free library, definitely.
It's like a place where every group or member of society is welcome.
And one of the things I would say about that, to whatever extent that it's a annoyance, I would say, for people who go to the free library on 19th Street, and I wouldn't say it's an annoyance because the library has made some level of adjustment to allowing people to do this, because I haven't seen it stopped. What I've seen is more of like a security staff, attendant, whatever you want to call it, that repeatedly was going in there and cleaning up behind folks. More so than becoming forceful and getting security. And the security can pretty much see who coming in there. They could kind of tell what's about to go on. And I've watched it like 2 or 3 times in the library, something I've paid attention to, because I've gone and used the bathroom. And brothers and sisters is literally washing up in there, bringing their stuff in there, washing up in there to whatever degree they can do it, use the bathroom, all that. And now what I've been seeing is the attendant just keeps going back in there and cleaning up behind whoever, however many people. I don't know what the rotation is, but that's what I've noticed. Unless that was just a special thing that happened the last 2 times I went to the library.
It's better to do that than to make homelessness or needing
to
help
criminalize
a crime, right?
Mm-hmm.
So another thing that the city has been doing that I really like, it's a couple things that have been going on lately. I can't say I like everything that's happening with new leadership, but I do like the fact that the mayor's office now has miniature city halls in every library. So everything that you would normally go down to City Hall to get done, they now have a City Hall version in the neighborhood.
Thank
so
you for that information, because
to
I didn't know that. I am not a
and-
fan of the administration and majority, if not all, of the politics. But that is one of those nuanced things that I'm not going to put too much credit to, because again, I understand the citizenry that you put that information out there for, and you know how much people actually utilize the library. Right. So to a certain extent, I could say that that's something very major, but you know your citizenry is not going to access it. But it's something that for people like myself and still that community, now that I know it as a community activist, stalwart, leader, whatever you want to say, I'm going to start accessing it. And I'm going to start telling people, you don't got to go downtown. You could just go to the library and go through that, work through it. Whatever paperwork is in, you could do it and get it right then and there. So I do think that that's something people need to know. I thank you for that. You know what I'm saying? And it did come from this administration. Yeah. Although the other stuff, it ain't no young boys around to go to the library.
Your criticism is valid though, because that's why I came here and said that.
Right.
Because it wouldn't have been known to this community that exists, because they develop these programs and then they don't do anything to let the people who actually need them know that they exist. That's
multiple levels of games being played.
It's almost like you don't want to solve the problems. That's what it seems like.
I mean, it's the way it works. It's like I tell people, I'm very much in this nonprofit industrial complex in Philadelphia. And I want all the people who I know is in it with me, whether you act like you're not. We're the gatekeepers in Philadelphia. For this particular city, that middle class of like influencers, bourgeoisie, academics, political class, educators, and that's more academics, contractors. That's why I said influencers. It's a lot of different type of ways black folk can get money in this city based on service providing. And your lived experience can get you into a lot of these places. Working for the city, all of those things go into that class of people that's used to control the poor people. And I'll give you an example. When you look at SEPTA bus drivers, this is not any cats and any disparaging things on my brothers. You could come from a situation where you didn't necessarily have the skill set, right, to do anything else. You didn't do all of the drug shit, street shit, might have did, but got out of it, sports, whatever the case may be. So now, typical black man in America, there's limited resources for ways that you can honestly find a way to take care of your family with benefits and so forth and so on. So with that being known, we set this job up where you're facing and dealing with your people all day. To whatever degree, you are an arbitrator for that company that you work for as a bus driver. And they know what your people are doing in the city. So they create these classes of spaces where they have us be the buffer against our people. And the way that we do that, the money that we get can sustain our lives in ways so we won't be that underclass of people, that poor, impoverished black people. But only us. So all of those places, and I'm not shooting nothing at these folks' jobs, because I look at street niggas as just as much as sellouts as any buck-out at work as a cop or anything else. Because you too fucking ignorant to know you're destroying shit. You have made it culture like you should get some type of props for fucking shit up and getting however high raise you made it in, destroying your own self and people. And capitalism can make it profitable, so that's how you get it. Whether it's actual street level shit or we rapping, making movies about it, whatever it is, remember, it's people in them bars. Actually, motherfuckers really got done like that. Let's not forget that nigga really did go to jail forever. And what hole did that leave in his family? So yeah, that's a real thing, and that's the game that get played with us. But what they do is they create a level of buffers for us to control our own people for the system. And we don't, it's my job, man. I'm out here taking care of my family. So now they start looking at motherfuckers like, why you can't understand that about me? Now, neither one of y'all got the actual real political education about who we are to have grace with each other. So y'all just standing on y'all sides. Nigga, you work for SEPTA. Like, what the fuck? Like, why you care about SEPTA shit and this, that, and the third? And they like, well, damn, I gotta take care of my family. Why you can't make this easy for me? Why when you get on my bus because I'm a black man, you could just do this shit right for me? So these people can't say shit to me about not doing my job or create a circumstance where they're putting me against you. They're talking to me at headquarters in ways where it's like, them people don't care about you. Don't get caught up in that black shit. Don't worry about these people, kids. They got parents, this, that, and the third. Call the cops. They start telling you all of this rhetoric so you could do the job better for them. And it feels personal to you because you have real experience with black people doing you fucked up. But they knew that. And they really didn't give you a whole lot of tools to prepare yourself for it. They just said, you want the job, right? You want the benefits, right? You want the new car. You want to get the crib. You want to be able to pay your child support and tell her, like, I don't give a fuck. I'm still making good money. Go ahead and take that bread.
All the things they told you that you
exactly
should have to be successful.
You feel me? Like, that's the other level of this shit. Like, she done took it away from the job. She done fucked with you. Now you can live like a rapper. You can wear the shit he wear. That boy you listen to in your AirPod when you going to work every day. Now you could buy the sneaks he talking about. You could get the car he talking about. You know what I mean? You could go on trips and be seen in a place. Because you, as a SEPTA driver, as a CEO, as a cop, as a PO.
I literally just got made fun of the other day for not caring about none of that stuff. Like, you're mad boring. You don't want designer. You're not lit. Like, it's like the dumbest
balance
shit ever.
So I don't want to run the time up. And I appreciate the conversation. You made some. I've heard you talk before. I've seen, like, when I did this, that was more for y'all. I've seen, even though I couldn't remember her name, I've seen her on Instagram. I've seen her in here. I know the things that she does in the community. We have talked before. It's like I don't know her at all. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate the conversation. I appreciate the things that you spark. Just so happen to go along with the things that we are already talking about. So this is Philly service announcement. Take two. I can't even get my own shit out. Like, I'm sweating. What's going on?
I'll come
Damn,
see you
she
again.
just like, how you do that? That's not good. So this is PSA, Philly service announcement. Takeover Tuesday, takeover love, support, great social activism, resources, and art. I am the assist. Shout out to Nick, Raw Cannon, all the cannons, Mile, Mark, Rakia, Niche, the kids, Maj, Mill, everybody. I love black people.